So I struggled to find a show at the end of the year that was within a reasonable drive of where I live. But then Apex Barbell, who is hosting this year's WRPF Nationals, dropped the dots requirement for Nationals this year. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Farm Fit channel. It's been a little bit since we talked. The last time I was on here was a bit of a PSA, and before that was a provincials wrap up from my strongman season. And since that time, some things have happened. And I wanted to go over what the plan is for the short term and a kind of look ahead to what the long term is going to be. So, first and foremost, had a really good come to Jesus moment with my coach after provincials and found a new goal. The goal was to lose some weight before next season's strongman season started because a little heavy, a little bit on the heavier side, heavier than I'd like to be. Mass moves mass, obviously, but it's slowing me down. We talked about that before, about how statically I'm fine, but moving I struggle. So the long-term goal is to lose some weight. What my coach also wanted me to do is to find a competition, powerlifting, at the end of the season, the end of the calendar year, I should say. The reason for that is because if I can lose some weight between now and then and do the competition, I have a baseline to compare to. In February of 2025, I competed at King and Queen of Strength down in Niagara Falls, hosted by my coach, actually, or one of my coaches, at the Just Be Strong gym. Great gym, great atmosphere. I weighed in at about 267-ish pounds and hit 600 pounds on my squat, 402 pounds on my bench, and 600 pounds on my deadlift. This was all great news. That checked off some boxes for me. I wanted to hit 600 pounds on my squat, which was terrific. I wanted to hit over 400 pounds on my bench, which was great. And then combine those together, I knew I would hit my third goal, which was a 1,600 pound total. That set my baseline for the year. So jump ahead now. Strongman's behind me, getting set for powerlifting to end the year. Coach wants me to find a show for the end of the year. Perfect, no problem. We can lose some weight. And as long as we're within 5 to 10% of that baseline that I set in February, we'll know that the power is being maintained, but I'm also getting a little bit fitter, a little bit more limber, a little bit more agile. So I struggled to find a show at the end of the year that was within a reasonable drive of where I live. But then Apex Barbell, who is hosting this year's WRPF Nationals, dropped the dots requirement for Nationals this year for, I believe, a second day. They had it set at 425. My dots after King and Queen of Strength sat at 417, so I just missed the cut. I had planned on doing a show in September to try to get my dots up to qualify for Nationals. Being that it was a 6-week turnaround from provincials into that show, my coach advised against doing it and recommended that I don't do it. So I decided not to. That was a case of, okay, need to listen to somebody other than the voices in my head, like I'm Randy Orton, and follow the advice of the people that I'm paying to help get me stronger. It was a tough pill to swallow. It sucked because I always like having something to strive for. So I was kind of in a bit of a limbo state at that point where I didn't have a show to prep for, but I was looking for one. But it was hard to get motivated when I don't have that carrot on the stick. So seeing that Apex dropped the dots requirement for Nationals from 425 to 400, I fit squarely in that category and decided, okay, I'm going to do this. I still signed up for the 275 group, being that I'm still 260-ish pounds today. I don't think I'm going to get down under 242 between now and November 9th when the show is. So I will be on the lower end of the 275 group, hopefully, touch wood, and be able to put on a good show there. That's the new plan. So that's what we're working towards. This was week 1 of that, just over 12 weeks out, 12 weeks, 5 days, I believe, when I started on Tuesday. And we started with squats. And I have to say, It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back to powerlifting. I love strongman. I will continue to do strongman, even though my coaches have said that this isn't on them. This is me too. I've said this in a previous video, so this isn't like throwing shade at them. I am a better power lifter than I am a strongman. That's not hyperbole. That's not just me dunking on myself and looking for pity. It's a fact. It's an undeniable fact if you just look at the numbers. But I'm not ready to give up strongman yet. So that being said, I am excited to do this show in November. It's closer to home. I'm going to be able to have some friends come out to watch it. It's obviously going to be live streamed by that crew. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So let's get into the week that was. A great start to the week. We started with squats, sets of 5, and it was hot. This whole summer has been insane. And I'm going to do a separate video on what that's meant for crops and the farming community around where I live this year, because it's been ridiculous. Just a bit of a preview to that. It's been great for wheat harvest because wheat harvest started super early, which is terrific. It's not been so good for corns and soybeans, but I will touch on that later. So we started with squats this week, nice and hot. I got 2 sets of 5 to do. I did my first set at 455, which was kind of my goal, and it moved really well. Better than I thought it was going to move, to be honest with you, considering I hadn't done straight back squats in quite a while. I find that when I've been away from strict powerlifting for any amount of time, to get back into it is a bit of a learning curve, and that shows up with deadlifts later on. But squats came back pretty quick, which was nice. So I jumped to 465 for my last set of 5, and again, moved really well. It was supposed to be about an RPE 7, and I think that that's where I hit. It moved maybe better than it felt. It definitely felt like a 7. So I'll take that as a good win. Did some pause squats after that. Just about 400 pounds. It was 396 because I used the kilo plates. So, because I am who I am, I'm going to round up to 400 pounds. I round up everything in my life, and it's great. What's another couple of extra inches or shave off a couple of pounds on my body weight? It's fine. No one's going to know. No one's going to judge. Shh, don't tell anybody. So that was great. Did some accessory work. Off to a great start. Did bench press. Another good session. Bench press went really well. I didn't do comp bench. I had board press and then Larson presses. So the board press I got to 330 on for 4 sets of 3 of those. Four sets of 3. I scared myself with that sentence. Went really well, moved incredibly well. Again, for not having flat benched in a while, super impressed with how it went. This happened before too when I first got into strongman. I'd been away from flat benching for a while. Did a lot of overhead, a lot of shoulder presses, a lot of everything you've seen before, my axle presses, my log presses, etc. And then coming back to flat bench, it's like, oh yeah, these all translate into this. So this does this very well. Good news all around. So terrific, good news there. And then Larson press, AMRAP, as many reps as possible for those that don't know. Larson press is different for me. I've never done it before. This was my first time ever doing it, just taking my legs completely out of the equation. And when I talked to the coach after, it was because the focus now is going to be on my triceps, trying to build my triceps up because they're everything. They're big in bench, obviously, and they're super important in strongman because triceps get used a lot in strongman. My triceps are good, but could be better. So we're going to build those. So Larson press AMRAP did 15, 12, and 8 at 225. And it was good because I found it a lot like the best way I can equate it is a lot like, say, calf raises or tricep press downs, where it goes really, really, really good, really good, really good, and then it just stops. There's just a clear wall where it goes, nope, we're done. And I feel like I hit that. So that was good. Other than I can't work out by myself or be trusted to be by myself because I smashed my head off the bench at one point and Randy died laughing, but that's because we're both klutzes. Anytime we work out together, one of us inevitably gets hurt. So, it's It's great for the lulls. And then did some accessories after that, which was good. And moved on to deadlifts for my third day. Deadlift was going to be a good go. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like because I hadn't conventional deadlifted in a while. Because I had done so much either accessory deadlift work or the yoke deadlift because that's what I was prepping for provincials. So this is that learning curve I talked about because these deadlifts aren't terrific. There's some hinging, there's a bit of hitching in there. The timing is just a little bit off between locking my knees and then them turning into soft knees and pushing my hips through when I should be. So the it's there, the pieces are there, it's going to get cleaned up, and I feel like I can get it cleaned up pretty quickly, but these weren't terrific. I got up to 518. Looking at my notes, yes, 518 pounds. I wanted to go a little bit more, being they were doubles, but I'll take it. I'll take 518 for doubles in week 1 of 13. And then did some accessories after that. And then the fourth day was all accessory work, nothing to write home about. So, all in all, feeling really good. I feel good physically. I started my cut this week as well. When I calculated out my macros, I was taking in between 3,000 and 3,200 calories daily, at least Monday to Friday. Saturday, this is part of a bigger problem that I know I have. Saturdays and Sundays, I kind of become an idiot and either eat way too much or not enough. And it's usually the reverse order. Usually Saturdays, I don't eat enough because I'm doing things, around the house, or I'm doing things on the farm, or I'm out doing something and I have 1 or 2 meals through the day. And then Sunday is usually at home meal prepping and I'm snacking all day. And then those calories, and not great ones, catch up to me throughout the day and I eat like an idiot. So I know Saturdays and Sundays need to be cleaned up, but Monday to Friday, because of my meal prep, I eat almost exactly the same thing every day, which is how I've been able to maintain my body weight. If you go back and look at my open powerlifting numbers year over year, plus or minus a couple of pounds. So I realistically only need to cut out a couple hundred calories a day over the next 12 weeks to slowly shave off that weight without starving myself. So that's going to be the start. I'm going to change up a couple of meals, increase my proteins a bit, and cut some calories out in some other ways to try to cut down that weight slowly but effectively. Not really sure what the goal is in terms of pounds per week or pounds per month, but I weighed myself 264 pounds to start this whole thing. So I'm going to weigh myself weekly after that just to keep an eye on it to see how I'm doing. I'm going to try not to obsess daily because there's no point because of fluctuations either in water intake, stress, sleep, sweat, whatever. So I'm not going to try not to stress daily, but I will be checking week over week. So that's where we're at. Prepping for WRPF Nationals, hoping to get back up to around a 600-pound squat, 400-pound bench, and whatever my deadlift is. Because my squat's going to outpace my deadlift. It just is. The way I'm put together, the way I'm built to squat more than I'm built to deadlift. And it's coming through in spades. So eventually my squat will just leave my deadlift in the dust, and I'm going to rely on my deadlift or my squat and my bench to make up most of my numbers through the day. And my deadlift is just going to be what it is. So all that being said, I'm looking forward to this prep. I'm looking forward to doing some more chronicling of my prep as we go forward and keep you guys up to date on what's happening and where we're at in the preparation. So all that being said, thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you to those of you that have liked, shared, and subscribed to my videos and channels. If you haven't, please do so below. Feel free to leave your comments, questions, or concerns. Try to be gentle on me. I have big shoulders, but I have a big heart too, and I don't want to be hurt. I have a lot of feelings. Generally feelings of like hunger and tired and soreness, but I have feelings too, The Lorax does feel, despite my gruff exterior. So be gentle. But thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the support, either here or on Instagram or in the gym, out in the wild where you catch me. Keep it coming. Stay positive. Stay strong. And we'll see you next time. Ow! Want to make sure.
Make sure you got that on video?
Yeah. Fuck. I want to make sure it's recording. Don't ask me. Knock yourself out. It's not a session with Randy and Phil. One of us doesn't get hurt.